everyone, Zoe Soul here. I am in my garden once again. It is a lovely day outside. I live in Texas, so it gets really hot in the summer, and it is June and it has been like 98 the past few days, but today it's probably 80s, so it's kind of nice to be outside right now. Anyway, I wanted to make this short video because I was thinking about this idea of finding your own magic and how to go about that. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this because I think it's something that people, especially in the beginning stages of their witchcraft or their art, because I feel like it also applies to a lot of artists, really, or anything, whether it's starting a business, any of that, can get kind of hung up on imposter syndrome and get hung up on trying to do it the right way and get it right. And I'm just here to tell you that in my experience, you know, there is no right way. Part of the reason why I really love being a fairy witch is the way that it was described to me is that, you know, other paths have, it's a path, and you learn about it and you learn how to practice and you learn the different crafts and spell work and you learn specifics to get on that path. And that's an awesome way to start. That's a great foundation. But with fairycraft, it's more like you are stepping off of the path and you're looking out into the wilderness and you're making the decision to create your own path. And that doesn't mean that there's not laws or rules of nature that apply or that there's not information you need to know before stepping out on that path. But it does mean that it gives you a lot more freedom to experiment and explore and really tune into your own intuition to find the spell work, to find the magic, to find the craft and the path that works for you. So that really resonated with me, and that's actually, you know, what I've done for most of my life in terms of my art and my craft and other areas. Most of you know that I'm a singer. I am the singer of a band called Sin and Seraphim. And I had an experience maybe about 6 months ago that was really interesting to me. I do sing opera within the music, but one of the things I love to do is combine different elements and kind of mash them up to make it interesting for me. So I like combining the opera with the more raw, guttural, organic sounds, and then infusing that with some of the more synthetic pop sounds and then some of the world sounds. So for me, it's really fun to sort of take everything that I know and love and bring it all together. About 6 months back, we were in recording and I had been taking a lot of opera lessons and my voice was sounding really good and really polished. But when I was in studio, my partner Zeph looked at me and he was like, kind of like having this look to him. And I was like, what is it? Tell me. And he was like, you know, sounds really pretty. And I knew exactly what he meant because that wasn't the sound that I wanted for the song. For the song, I wanted it to have a little more aggression and a little more of a growl to it. And when he said that, I realized, oh my gosh, I've made a mistake. I took on too much of the teaching and I embodied it so much that I sort of began to lose my voice. And I was beginning to shape my voice in the form of the quintessential opera singer. Now, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do and that's your passion, but it wasn't my passion and it wasn't aligning with what I wanted to do. And it reminded me of something that I heard back in college when I was in art school, and that was, I'm going to teach you all that I know. I want you to take it, I want you to learn it, and then I want you to forget all about it. And the idea is that you learn the rules so that you can artfully break them. And I believe that when you learn something, whether it's a craft or an artistic form or whatever it is, it finds its way in your body so that you know it intuitively. And then the art comes in when you get to take that and infuse it with your own variation on it and really infuse your voice. So it's in the forgetting that we find our art. And that for me is, you know, how I've always approached things. And so when he told me that my voice sounded pretty and I could recognize what I was doing, you know, I had like the perfect alignment and the perfect posture and the perfect placement of the mouth, and I was hitting the notes in the exact right spot, and like technically it was perfect, but artistically it was boring. once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, I need to just kind of shake all this off and tune into the energy of what this song is about and not be afraid to get ugly and let it be a little bit ugly. And once I did that approach, the recording came out the way that I wanted it to come out. And that's also how I approach my witchcraft. I really think that it's important to get knowledge, to read books, to learn from other people. But at the end of the day, the best spell work that you're going to do is the spell work that is organic and intuitive, and that really comes from your soul and comes from the place of not being afraid to get it wrong, or not being afraid to be a little sloppy or a little messy or have a little growl or a little ugliness to it, because that's authentic. And true magic is an authentic expression, and that's how I look at it. So if you're suffering in any area of your life with imposter syndrome or perfectionism, or feeling like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, please take this video as an inspiration to say that it doesn't matter. You don't have to know what you're doing. In fact, probably some more interesting stuff is going to come out of the fact that you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a preconception about how things are supposed to look. So I'd like to give you a little challenge, and if you do participate in this challenge, please reply in the comments below how this works for you. But I would like for you to find a spot, preferably out in nature if you can. If you don't have nature nearby, you can find a peaceful place in your house or outside, and just close your eyes and tune into what you're feeling in your body, and just get really quiet and tune into what you feel intuitively and begin to listen. And I'd like for you to come up with your own ritual and not judge it. It can look like anything. In fact, if it's silly or out there, I don't care. I think that it's more about the practice of creating your own ritual and learning to listen to your own intuitive guidance. And so what that might look like is you might be closing your eyes and feeling into yourself, and all of a sudden, I don't know, a bowl of water pops into your head. Well, okay, there you have something. You have an insight. You're gonna use a bowl of water, and then just kind of let it flow organically. Get into the idea of play again and creativity, because that's really where the best magic comes from. It's this spontaneous creativity. And that is the deep listening that I've talked about before in previous vlogs. If you just are still and willing to listen, you are opening yourself up to seeing things, to hearing things, to clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and you're allowing space in your busy mind and busy world, creating and allowing space for spirit to come through and to talk to you. And so I'm curious what comes up for you. Generally, that's how I approach spell work. I actually have never had a grimoire, but that is something that I want to get because I think it's time for me. I've always practiced my own spells. I've created my own spells, and then I have used spells that have been given to me and passed down to me as well. But I think it's time for me to start my own book of shadows, where it is the spells that come to me intuitively, because I have found personally that those are the ones that are most powerful. So again, imposter syndrome away. Just go with what feels organic and intuitive for you, and trust that your authentic expression is perfect and powerful, and very oftentimes much more powerful than a prescribed path. So hope that was helpful. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you all later.